I'm really distracted by all these beautiful creatures. Okay. No. Oh, you don't like kisses so much. Hi, it's Tara here from AustralianCamels.com. In today's video, we're talking about baby camels and boundaries. So one thing that is for sure, baby camels are terribly cute. Shilo here, he's not really so baby anymore. He's almost 2 years old actually, coming up in May this year. So his uncle's over there, Uncle Coco, and he's got Auntie Mia on the other side. And this is along with 16 other camels who Shilo actually lives in the same paddock with. So like I was saying, there was no doubt about it that baby camels are terribly cute, and everyone wants one because they're cute. Look at his beautiful face. So our Shilo here was born on our farm about almost 2 years ago actually. So, and then he was orphaned when he was about just over one years old, I think. So unfortunately his mum died from some sort of medical condition. We thought it was a tumour. It turned out not to be. Big long story to that. Anyway, back to the camels and babies. So as you can see, even in this short interaction, Shilo wants attention so bad. Like, he's definitely a very affectionate baby camel. Now most people would assume that that's very nice and very cute and that it's really good setup for training and bonding. But what you don't know is I'm terribly annoyed at the moment because he is not giving me boundaries. So he's coming to me for affection, and so are you. Back up, back up, back up please. So basically, with baby camels, it's completely different to how we feel about our own species, like a baby human, for instance. A baby camel thinks completely different. Camels think completely different to people like Coco. So one thing that I've noticed that us humans love to do is we love baby animals. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you love the idea of a baby camel, and they are terribly cute, and we kind of just want to go, oh, they're so cute, and, you know, do the whole pop, 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 pop thing. But something that's occurred to me is that really the kind of danger factor of that. I've been working with camels for now just over close to 6 years now. So one thing I've noticed is just how different they're thinking to any other animal that I've worked with, you know, horses, dogs, other farm animals, cows, sheep, and all that sort of thing. The progression of this and owning baby camels is something really to be thought about, because they're not really starting to switch to their juvenile stage until they're just, you know, hitting over 3, 4 years old. They're very much still babies. It does depend on the camel and all that at the time. Owning a baby camel is a pure delight because you get to see them grow up, and there's nothing more rewarding than that. But what's more rewarding is having a camel after they're a baby, you know, past 2 years of age, 3, going into 4, is having a camel that's manageable without being clingy and thinking that you're its mother. So we've raised a couple of baby camels on our camel farm, and one of the most important things that we've enforced right from the beginning, knowing of experiences with other baby camels and other people's experiences, is to enforce boundaries really early. Now the advantage of that is basically that you don't get this camel that's really hard to train when they get to the training age of, you know, 3, 4, 5, whatever, upwards. We've had camels delivered to us before, basically given away, that have been hand reared because they've become too difficult to handle and train. These particular camels became pushy, like almost scarily pushy, to the fact that they'll do anything for, you know, to get to food, or they'll do anything to get attention from you. Now, a way that a baby camel brains work, and when I say baby camel, anything under the age of 2, sometimes even older, it just depends on the camel. The way that their brain works and is wired is they need mentors. They need somebody to assist them with life. They really want somebody to follow. And what they look for is exactly that. And we've noticed this in wild camel behaviour, you know, hanging out with camels in the wild. We've noticed this obviously within our herd. We've got 19 camels in our herd, and they just want to push the boundaries a little bit and find the right mentor that will give them, you know, the things that they need. But what a baby camel doesn't know is that that mentor may not know how to mentor. So for instance, a baby camel will come up to a human and, oh my gosh, they're adorably cute. We all know that. But because they're like that, and the camel obviously doesn't know how cute they are, but we know that they're cute, that camel will do things to try and push that boundary, like, okay, well, I'll just get a little bit more affection, or I'll get a little bit more of a treat, or a little bit more of something else. So that's when the danger comes in, because they will get to a stage where they get a lot bigger and stronger, and no matter what, you will not win over that camel, because it's already quite figured out that they're the herd leader because you're the one coming to them and you're not the mentor that they were looking for. In a herd environment, something like, you know, we've got camels surrounding us here, is that they have aunties and uncles and, you know, their mum, and not their dad usually, but they have mentors around them. And the best manners a baby camel can learn is with other camels. Now, if you've got a baby camel and it's the only camel you've got, that is okay, but just listen carefully when we say that it's really important that they get the right mentoring and the right kind of boundaries. In our company, we only recommend and we only sell camels in pairs because they learn off each other and they can be camels and learn to be a camel, you know, in behavioural wise. That's what I'm talking about. What?
Okay, go.
Oh! Hello, Jasper. How are you? They really creep up, don't they? Here's some free tips that you can do to create more boundaries with your baby camel. Now, tip number one is feed them by bucket, not by hand. So instead of feeding treats or feeding out hands, you know, if you've got visitors or guests, like, come feed my camel, try not to do that, because you're only encouraging that camel to basically do anything for food. And that's how a camel brains work. I'm not making this up as a human. That is how a camel brain works, is that they will do anything for food. And if they think there's food, that there could be a slight chance, they could be all over you, and that's the danger factor that can happen. You don't have to Google very far to see really unfortunate events of camel owners being killed by their pet camels. It is absolute tragedy, it breaks our hearts, and it's really sad that I guess that camel has that misconception again that, you know, they've killed someone because they're so aggressive and all that sort of stuff. Do you want to be on film? But nothing can be further from the truth. It's all about us. And one thing, a big saying we have in our clinics when we do them is basically 99% of the time it's a handler error. So that's quite a lot of, and it's mostly because of lack of understanding. So, but guys, seriously, we're all learning still. So don't be disheartened if you've had an accident or you feel like you've done something wrong. It is still going to be okay. Everything is figure-outable, as my mentor Marie Folio says. I love that saying. Everything is figure-outable. We can fix that, and we often get camels in and their trainers or you know and their owners, and they just need help in setting some boundaries, and we help with that sort of stuff. The second tip we've got is creating boundaries, physical boundaries with you and your camel. Obviously more than just a fence sort of setup. So we've got Jesper here. Now he's about 4 years old. He's from the wild and he's been through level 1 training, and he's really quiet. But if this was Shilo, our baby camel, who's eating over there somewhere, Shilo would keep moving towards me, and that is where the boundaries need to be set, because you need to be calling the shots and saying when you want to approach that camel. And this is not for wild camels. This is particularly for hand-reared baby camels or bottled red camels. So Jesper, in this case, just pretend that he's Shilo. I would be pushing him away. Now, not getting in the strike zone, because they can kick forward, and just back up, or go away. I use that as well with Shilo. So he responded to that. But again, if that was Shilo, which he's busy eating, he would come up again and back up. Third attempt, if he does it again, I walk out of the paddock, I walk away from him, because he understands that he's not, you know, that I'm the one set the boundaries, and they will think. They're incredibly intelligent creatures, so they will think. Okay, so tip number 3 is elaborating a little bit more on physical boundaries. You have your space, the camel has its. Now, as you know, camels grow quite big, so when they're babies, they are very cute, and you want to spend as much time with them and all that sort of stuff, which, you know, isn't necessarily a good thing, because that camel looks to you as mum, especially if you only have one camel. But one thing that we don't encourage is bringing camels into your human space, things like your backyard or your house. We have seen footage and people of taking their camels into their house. Yes, it's funny and cute, but there's like, if that camel wanted to get into your house at any time, it could. I always have this saying that, you know, if camels knew they could rule the world, they would, and they can, because they're that kind of animal. They're big enough to be able to do that. So create really clear boundaries for your camel, like, this is your space, this is mine. Shilo, for instance, when he comes up to me and I give him those 3 attempts and he doesn't get the 3rd hint, I'm out of that paddock. That is my space. I don't want him following me to my backyard and into my house and sitting on my bed.
They can do.
Which camels, yeah, like, if once a camel sees you as a mama, that's not necessarily a good thing, because you've got to have to break that bond eventually to be able to handle that camel properly in the future. Your pure ambition for this camel relationship that you have with your new camel, baby camel, and what are you doing? Your pure ambition should be to create a bond that is healthy, in respect that you have boundaries, the camel has boundaries, and nobody is going to get hurt in the process of that. So never underestimate the intelligence of your camel, baby or not, and just get clear on your boundaries. So just to recap, number 1, bucket feed, don't hand feed. So rather than feeding in a hand, feed in a bucket, okay? And leave them to eat and go and do something else, because that's not bonding time. That camel's thinking about food, it ain't thinking about you standing there. Tip number 2, create boundaries with your camels when you're in the paddock with them. If they come up to you and you're walking away, you push back, you know, being careful that they can actually kick with the front legs, you know, back up, or, you know, go away. And if they do it again, the 2nd attempt, try it again, 3rd attempt, you're out of there. Come back in a few minutes or something like that, try again. Or the next day. A baby camel has still got a very young brain, so, you know, give it a lot of leeway when it comes to training. Tip number 3, create your human boundaries and camel boundaries. You know, the camel's got its paddock, you leave, that's the camel's space, your space is out there. You don't want camels following you around into your own space, because eventually they will be able to get to wherever they want to get to if they know there's something good on the other side. Hey, did you get value from this video or have any questions for us? Head over to our Australian Camels blog to ask your questions or to leave a comment. While you're there, sign up to our email list so you never miss these types of videos, other camel related blogs, and also special announcements and information which we don't share anywhere else. Once you've signed up, you'll get access to our free camel training videos, information ebooks and MP3s. So head over to australiancamels.com now to get your goodies. So baby camels. It's a big camel. And here comes the crew. They found grass. Feeding them is a good idea. Why didn't we do that? It was orphaned. How we gotta deal with that? You like our gate? It's very secure, as you can see. Direct. He's coming closer and closer.
Never work with children and animals.
They never work with camels and kids, because
animals.
Oh, camels and kids. Animals and kids.